Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to the 400 Mini show, in which we explore the built-in games of the Atari 400 Mini retro gaming console and onward into some other Atari 8-bit titles you might want to take a look at on the system. Since we covered the officially released Star Raiders 2 recently, I thought it might be interesting to take a look at the unreleased, untuned prototype by Aric Wilmunder that nearly became the second Star Raiders for Atari 8-bit. Wilmunder was supposedly working on this version of Star Raiders 2 as part of a secret team at Atari, but he was laid off during the company's troubled period around 1984. He took the code with him, and he finally released it to the public in 2015. In a document accompanying the release of this prototype, Wilmunder recounts a tale of Atari's troubles and how he'd been developing the game to near completion, only to discover to his great surprise one day that Atari had just released a game called Star Raiders 2 that was nothing to do with his project. This, of course, was the game that was originally an adaptation of the movie The Last Starfighter. Wilmunder found himself with his marching orders from Atari shortly afterwards. After being laid off by Atari, Wilmunder attempted to convince the Trammell brothers, who had by this point purchased Atari's consumer division, to let him finish and release the project. While they initially appeared amenable to the idea, they were unwilling to commit, and thus Wilmunder decided to look for other opportunities. As it happened, he demonstrated his Star Raiders 2 prototype during a visit to Lucasfilm, and a few weeks later he was accepting a position at the company. In later years, he would go on to become the co-creator of the Scum adventure game system that powered LucasArts Adventures for many years. Now, I personally know next to nothing about this version of Star Raiders 2 and have been meaning to try it for ages, so why not right now? Let's go play Star Raiders 2 and ponder what might have been. Okay, here we are with Star Raiders 2 by Aric Wilmunder. Not played this at all before, so I don't really know what to expect. I've had a quick look through the instructions that Wilmunder has graciously provided, but aside from that, I know very little about this. I know that it's basically finished, but it's not completely balanced and tuned, so it might not provide the completely optimal experience that you would have preferred to release, but people do say that this is pretty good. So let's give it a go. Let's hit the fire button and start. Novice mission. Galactic history. So the game starts by showing you how the Xylons appeared in the system and gives you the initial setup of what's going on, so you can pick and choose where you want to go. So if I then press that there, zoom in on those, I can then... Good luck. Okay, right, so shields on, computer on. The star bases can get destroyed right at the beginning of this, so hyper warp engaged. So don't feel too bad if one gets destroyed straight away. Oh, this is new. Hello. Gotta fly through a wormhole. Oh, this is interesting. We've got a control scheme somewhat more akin to Star Luster. Which, if you've watched any of my Evercade A to Z series, you'll know is Namco's homage. Namco's homage to Star Raiders for Famicom. But yeah, we got much more detailed enemies in this. That I think may actually be proper polygonal enemies. Ooh, more enemies. More on the way. Where are you? This control scheme's interesting. A little bit strange. Particularly because you're you're sort of controlling the sight and the direction your ship is moving at the same time, which is a little odd. Gratuitous TIE fighter rip-off there. Okay, I think this sector is now clear, so let's head for the galactic chart. Oh look, they're actually moving in real time now, that's interesting. Now, I think one notably new thing in this is I believe there's planet surface stuff in this. Oh god, yeah, there is. There's absolutely planet surface stuff in this. So I guess we're destroying these bases. Still getting to grips with these controls. I understand why they're here, I think. Because the targets in this move sort of a lot faster and more erratically than they do in the original game. And so I think having the ability to aim a bit more precisely is probably something that was necessary. It's tricky to line up on some of these ground targets though. Come on, hit him. There we go, nearly done. Oh, this is tricky. It's a bit easy to kind of go overboard with the controls, I think. I think I probably need to be a little bit more gentle with them. At least you can't crash into the ground though. That's something. Come on, that's got to be all of them. Missed again. Right, got it. I think that's clear now. There's nothing on the scanner. Let's try and... Oh, you have to hit the boosters to get off the planet. Excuse someone at the door downstairs. Right, yeah, you have to use your boosters to get off the planet before you can enter hyperspace again. Yeah, this is really interesting so far. Definitely some adjustments and balancing needed. Because if anything, this aiming system makes it a little bit easy to destroy enemies. And we are playing on the novice difficulty, admittedly. But yeah, with the combination of the size of the enemies and how you can aim much more precisely around the screen now, it does feel quite a lot easier. Certainly no bad thing, though. Right. Probably going to want some energy at some point as well. So we're down to 1,300 and something. I like the hyperspace wormhole thing, that's cool. That's a nice replacement for the sort of keeping yourself on course thing from the original. I guess that's a warning that we're getting low on energy. So hopefully we can just deal with the remaining baddie here. Still have enough to get to a starbase for a bit of a refuel. Alright, clear. How much warp energy do we need? 130. Yeah, those are proper polygonal models, aren't they? Except that rather than being done with solid lines, they'd been done with dots. That's really interesting. Yeah, some very impressive stuff going on in here. I suspect what may have happened is that executives at Atari probably saw what was happening with this and thought, that's too similar to the original Star Raiders. Because at first glance it might look very similar to the original Star Raiders. It's got the same screen layout, same font. But it plays very, very differently. Okay, making good progress. Onwards to this chappy here. Well, you can zoom in and see how many ships there are there. That's neat. So yeah, the further the distance you're hyperspacing, the more of those rings you have to fly through in the wormhole sequence. Yeah, enemy AA is not so hot because they just seem to sort of fly around in circles. It definitely is as a proof of concept. This is super interesting. Where have you gone? There you are. Alright, just a couple more to deal with. Yeah, this is quite easy. What we'll do, we'll try one of the harder difficulty levels when we're done here. And see if that makes a difference. Or if it's just a case of there being more enemies, which I suspect is probably what's going to be the case. Because one of the things that is known about this prototype is that it's not been sort of tuned and balanced properly. But I guess you do want your lowest difficulty level to be accessible and straightforward. I'm really impressed with those 3D objects. Because there certainly were polygonal 3D games on the Atari 8-bit. There's stuff like Paul Works' Mercenary, and there were the flight sims by Digital Integration, Tomahawk, and Fighter Pilot. But it wasn't widespread by any means. It wasn't until 16-bit computers that we started to see much in the way of 3D objects in games. And we're done, I think. Starfleet to Star Cruiser 8. Mission complete. New rank is Lieutenant. Class 1. Okay, I can live with that. Right, so how do we switch levels? Can we switch levels? I don't know that we can switch levels. Option. Select. Start. No. Yeah, I guess we can't switch levels. Okay, well, I guess that's it then. So that is Star Raiders 2 by Aric Wilmunder. That's very impressive and very interesting. And I wonder if anyone has considered sort of taking Wilmunder's source code and trying to finish this off and polish it up into a sort of finished game with proper balancing and so on. Because there's definite potential for some really cool things there. It just needs a little bit of tweaking to get the difficulty balance right, and obviously the different difficulty modes would be the thing. In fact, let's just come out of here and load it up again and see if we can access different difficulty modes from the title screen. So select Pilot Warrior. Oh, there we are. Okay. Alright, let's bump it up to Warrior and see what difference that makes. Oh yeah, a lot more enemies, a lot more star bases. Yeah, lots of stuff going on straight away. Star Cruiser 8 commissioned. Good luck. Alright, well let's kick off with dealing with this guy who's clearly coming for our home system. So front view, shields, computer, hyper warp engaged. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, that's harder. Let's try that again. Right, that's better. Now let's see if the enemies are more aggressive. They're still kind of just flying around in circles, but they do seem to be shooting at me a bit more. Including from behind. Getting the hang of this control scheme slightly now. It is odd that it is kind of odd that the cursor doesn't auto-center itself. And so while your cursor's over on the left-hand side of the screen, you can be turning right, which feels a little bit strange. Okay. God, there's so many of them. So many of them. Now that starbase is surrounded. Let's see if we can deal with that. Whoops. Oh, it's so hard to stay in those. Maybe making multiple shorter jumps is the way forward. No! I'm going to be defeated by hyperspace rather than the Xylons at this rate. Well, I think I'm too late to say that starbase anyway. But let's shoot some baddies anyway. Damage control. Engines critical. Yep, those engines certainly are buggered. Where are you? Okay, time to escape. There we are, handled perfectly. Right, and where's the starbase? Should be round here somewhere. Repairs, please. Right, God, there's still so many of them. Okay, let's try these ones. Getting the hang of that. Slowly. I love that they're just TIE fighters. Like, not even trying to hide it. I mean, in the original Star Raiders, they were very obviously TIE fighters as well, but they were little sprites. So you can sort of give it the slight benefit of the doubt. But no, here, they're just straight up TIE fighters. I wonder what... whether that contributed to Lucasfilm bringing on Wilmunder. Subspace radio critical. Now that means the galactic map doesn't update properly. Where are they? Oh, there you are. Hello. Okay, so the high difficulty levels are harder. The enemies are a bit more evasive. They are more aggressive. So yeah, there is some balancing that went on here. There just could have been a bit more. Also, yeah, I feel like something should be tuned about this control scheme. I kind of struggling to explain why, but it always feels like your crosshair is over at the side of the screen. Oh yeah. See everything flickering there. That's because my subspace radio has been damaged. Actually, thinking about it, yeah, you have a damaged control screen in this now, and if you look, you can see how damaged each section is, and I think those gradually repair over time. It's implied that in this you actually have a crew to help you out. And they will repair systems over time. But if you want an instant repair, it's still a case of... Whoops. If you want an instant repair, it's still a case of going straight to a starbase. And they will sort you right out. Creeping ever closer. Ever closer. There we go. Right. The other thing that is bugging me slightly is moving the crosshair uses standard up-down controls instead of inverted ones. Which makes sense for moving a cursor around the screen, but not for actually piloting the spacecraft. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there, because the when you're going through the hyperspace wormhole, it uses inverted flight controls. But when you are in combat, it does not. Also, if you go a very short distance like that, there's no rings to fly through at all. Yeah, they are being much more evasive on this difficulty level. It's also interesting that you can be attacked by multiple at once in this as well. Because I always got the impression with Star Raiders that it was doing its best to avoid having too many things on screen at one time. Hit him. Hit him. You do not want to be shot, do you? I say that like it's surprising. Yeah. Alright, that took much longer than it should have done. On to the next. Come on, come here. Oh, are we making progress? I guess we are. I guess we're making a bit of progress. 5 targets in this sector. Oh God, yeah, it's real sort of white knuckle wrestling with the controls going through those hyperspace tunnels, especially over long distances. That's a good change. I like that. Oh dear. Oh, my engines are knackered again. Right, I'm going to leave them. And I'm going to see how long it takes the repair crews to deal with them. And see how practical it is to do that, if at all. Oh, please die. Oh, not repaired yet. And no way you can tell them to concentrate on that particular system. So I wonder if that system's fully implemented. Low on energy. I'm just gonna fly until we run out of energy because we've been going for 40 minutes already. No, I think we've got the idea of this. Let's just hyperwarp over here. Well, let's go and deal with this little situation here. Hold tight. Let's make a last stand. Is it going to take very long with the rate at which the weapons consume energy? And there we go. Starfleet to Star Cruiser 8. Mission aborted. 0 energy. New rank is fledgling. That's fair enough. Class 4. Okay, that's cool. Report to Starbase for training. Yeah, okay. Obviously, I just deliberately quit that early just so we don't go on forever. But hopefully you've got a good idea of how that works now. That's definitely got a lot of potential, and it's surprising that never sort of went beyond being a secret project at Atari and the people involved ended up getting laid off, because I think that would have been really well received. I think that would have impressed a lot of people. And although the game that we do have that did end up being Star Raiders 2 isn't a bad game by any means, I know a lot of people don't like it because it's not really Star Raiders, I think that would have probably gone down a lot better as a sequel to Star Raiders. So yeah, it's good that we can play it now. It's good that we can play it now. It would just be cool if someone decided to take Wilmunder's source and tart it up a bit, basically, to sort of balance things a bit, tweak the gameplay slightly. Tweak the gameplay slightly with things like maybe tweaking the control scheme a little bit. But on the whole, yeah, that's really good. I mean, I'm very impressed with that. So I'm glad I've finally taken the time to give that a go. So that was what could have been Star Raiders 2 by Aric Wilmunder. Just remains for me to say, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.